Okay, here we go. I think a minute or two early, I believe. That's not to worry. Okay, so hello, hello, everybody coming in. How is the picture quality for everybody? Can you see this okay? How's it looking? Are we looking okay? I think we seem to be. Okay, so everyone is coming in now. So as I said, for you guys who follow the beginner tutorial, I'm doing a live stream today while I talk to you guys, and I'll be quickly building up my little cave over here whilst I do it. So if you've got any burning questions or anything, just just let me know. So how is everyone today? How is everybody? Okay, so let's have a look at some of these comments then. Oh god, there's loads of comments already. Okay. How long will I stream? Not sure, to be honest. Half an hour maybe. Is the stream looking okay? Can you hear me okay? And can you see the video okay, folks? Yes, nice quality. Great, thank you. So should we see how much of a delay we have between the chat and the video? So you guys, as soon as you hear this, just type Nintendo Switch in a chat. See how long this takes. How do we make loading zones? Loading zones, we'll sort loading zones out probably in this series a bit later on. Okay, so there we go, about 20 seconds we have. So the delay is about 20 seconds, folks. That's good to know. So speaking of Nintendo Switch, did anybody pick it up yesterday? It was a worldwide release yesterday, wasn't it? Personally, me, I don't think it's my sort of thing, but for a lot of people, I guess it is. And if you did pick up the Switch, did you pick up Legend of Zelda as well? And if you did, how is it? How long did it take me to learn to code? Well, you see, I've been coding since I was about 15, 16. I went to college here in the UK and developed my skills further. Keep in mind, I'm 31 now, so I would say, well, I'm constantly learning how to code. So far, it's taken me 16 years to learn to code. Too busy with Horizon Zero Dawn. That's a good choice. A good choice. Good game. Funny Prankster. It's probably not wise to advertise your channel here. You're only going to get haters on there for doing stuff like that. So probably best if you don't, to be honest. Yes, Kane Zombie, I am in the UK. I thought you'd be able to tell by the accent, although I suppose that's not always, you're not always able to tell, because you look at Jim Sterling, for example, he is British, but he actually lives in the USA. So yeah. But yes, I am in the UK. Sorry, it's just a bit difficult to keep track of what's going on in chat and do this at the same time. Let's get another rock in there, shall we? Why not? That's pretty big. So for anyone who actually bought the Switch, have you had any problems with it? As I've been reading today, there is a few people have had a couple of problems with it, like a blue screen of death and whatnot. I thought that was pretty serious. Will I ever do a face reveal? Trandy, if you want to actually see my ugly mug, if you head to the website and go to the About, you can actually see a little picture of me. There's also a picture of me on the Patreon page, the same picture. It's nothing really special, to be honest. It's just a picture of my ugly face. Okay, let's have a quick look at the chat. Someone says I prefer Unreal Engine. Now you see. There's Unreal is one of them. You either love it or you hate it, I think. I do quite like fiddling around with Unreal Engine, but because I focus on Unity so much, I kind of tend to focus more on that. I also feel there's a lot of tutorials already out there for Unreal. That's why I don't really focus on it too much anymore. Hi, I'm a Java developer. Hi, how are you? How do I make assets for map? Any way you like, really, to be honest. Unreal is for graphics. Well, yes, that is strictly true. A lot of people do believe that you can get better graphics on the Unreal Engine, and it is true, but usually it is down to the developer themselves. So, yes, you can get better graphics, but like I say, if anyone has checked out the Adam demo from Unity, you should it's really, really good. It looks really nice. Jimmy, do you use Blender? Yes, I do use Blender. And as a matter of fact, next week there is a tutorial coming about Blender. A lot of people have been asking for it, asking me to do a series on how to use Blender. So I will be doing it. Just keep an eye out for it. I think it's next week or week after. How do you make first-person hands? Easy. All you do with that is you need to get a rigged model, which you can probably get from the asset store, to be honest, and just stick it in there. Easy. Okay, so where I'm going with this cave. Not building it too big. Just playing around with it. Have you guys built your cave up yet? I mean, let me have a look at it. Send over some pictures or a video or something. What is Blender? Ben Matchin asks. Blender is a program you can use to develop 3D models. So it's things like Blender, 3D Studio Max, all different kind of programs like that, which you use to create these 3D models that you can see right here. Do you know what? I'm actually going to change the lighting in this scene. I've been meaning to do it. and I'm going to get it done now because I'm not quite happy with it. Make it a little bit brighter, I think. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Do you use 3ds Max? I don't. I don't use it. I know quite a lot of people do though. Unreal Engine is better not only for HD texture. That is why. Okay, yeah. Well, there's always that argument of which is better, Unreal or Unity. And to be honest, I'm on neither one side or the other technically because I actually like both of them. I'm a fan of both. So yeah, the Switch came out yesterday. I'm still torn on whether I should actually get one, but I think the general consensus from me and some guys I know in work is no, it's not really so good. But I guess you never know. I did see as well, if anyone knows, that the dock itself has been scratching a couple of screens on the Switch, which isn't really such a good thing, is it? You know, you don't want to get your brand new console and then realise that the dock it actually sits in ends up scratching it. It's pretty bad. So yeah, how is everyone and their Unity going projects? What kind of games are you guys making? If if any of you guys want to show off what you've been making, then please by all means do. If you've got videos, by all means share the links. Let other people see what you've been making, how you've been doing it. Because I'm always keen and eager to see what you guys have actually been making. I do like to see it. Let's have a quick look at the chat, shall we? I don't think it's worth 300 for Zelda. Do you know what? I actually agree with you, Oliver. I do think the Switch itself is quite expensive, especially if you do just want to play Zelda. Probably best getting it on the Wii U. I don't think there's much of a difference graphically, is there? Someone has made a paintball game. Share it. By all means, if you want to. Let's have a look. Making an open world race game with multiplayer. I like the sound of that, Rage. I like the sound of it. A World War II survival FPS game with a team of 15 thanks to you. Oh, okay. That's promising. I do like World War II settings, I have to be honest. I do like that. Need to learn AI concept. Well, funnily enough, we'll be doing some AI in the FPS series soon. I've recently recorded the next video of it, and we start touching on AI there. So, oh, Lollipop's asking for it as well. Yeah, we'll be doing some AI soon in the FPS series. Yeah. Also, if you are on Patreon, we'll be doing AI a lot sooner in the Zombie Horde tutorial that I'm doing just for Patreon. Let's see. Most of the game was made with the help of my FPS tutorial. That's brilliant. Thank you. That's it's good to know that I'm actually helping you guys out one way or another. It's good to know. Is it hard to get a job as a game dev if you went to college? It's a tough one. Sometimes they say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and I think in game dev that probably does hold true. I mean, me personally, I don't think I'll ever get a job in actual game development because I'm more of an instructor. I don't think. Well, then again, I guess I might be able to cope with the pressure of being a game dev. I guess I don't know, but absolutely, if you go to college, you learn different types of code. I think you probably would stand more of a chance than someone like me, at least, who didn't really study it in college. I studied software development, but not specifically game development. So you'd probably stand more of a chance than me. Is C# and Unity all you need to know to create a game? Taj says. Strictly yes. It depends on what kind of assets you want to use. There is a Unity asset store which you can technically get pretty much any asset you want from there, but obviously some things you would have to buy. If you want to do everything yourself, then I would recommend learning something like Blender, Maya, or 3D Studio Max as well. Probably best to use Photoshop and maybe something like FL Studio if you want to make sounds. But like I say, that's if you want to do everything yourself. I don't think it's recommended though. Not at all, because it could be quite stressful. Do I purchase assets? Yes, I do. To be honest, if I see an asset I like in the store, I tend to have a quick look at it. If it's maybe a couple of dollars, I go for it and buy it, because I like to help out the indies quite a lot, because I feel helping these little guys really helps guys like you who are learning and developing your skills. Am I sponsored by Unity? No, I have absolutely no affiliation with Unity whatsoever. I don't think it's ever something I would consider either, generally because I think you always have to have independent people in everything, really. You can't just have specific people, and you'll always get the people like me and Brackies doing tutorials like this, completely independent of Unity, but Unity also do their own tutorials, but you can never have too many, right? Let's have a look. Let's bring that in closer, shall we? There we go. So technically what I'm doing here is I'm just quickly building up a cave with a couple of rocks. You could theoretically build this yourself in something like Blender, but as I say, there will be a Blender series from me pretty soon, and I guess we'll probably do something like this in it. Incidentally, does anyone actually know what this, what's it called? Super Chat. This is actually only my second time streaming on YouTube, and I've never seen it before. I'm just kind of exploring things at the moment. So it's got emojis and super chat, and I have no idea what that is. Should we have a look? Send a super chat. Oh, I see. It's not really relevant to me. Do I prefer JavaScript more than C#? Okay, see, JavaScript and C# are quite similar, especially when it comes to programming in Unity. I don't really prefer one or the other. I can do both quite easily because they are very similar. The reason I do, or have started at least with JavaScript, is because I feel theoretically it's nice to learn JavaScript and then easily move on to C#. So then, you know, two languages, nice and easy. But as time's gone on, I know a lot of you guys have said you want to see C#. So I figured I'll just switch over to C# and start teaching that a bit more. So every new series that I do now is going to have C# in it rather than JavaScript. But that's not to say that there won't be any JavaScript in it, because Unity is quite nice at handling two different languages. So here's a question for you guys. How many of you guys have been developing for more than, let's say, 10 years? It doesn't necessarily have to be with Unity, but let's say with the old RPG Maker, if anyone remembers that. So how long have you guys been developing? Irish Brew's only 15. Well, it's good. It's good to see that you are only 15, but you're getting into game development early. That's what I like to see. The more you learn at a young age, the better. Four months, 1 month, 8 years, 6 months. Two years. Someone's only 11. Caden, hats off to you. You know, it's a good age to start game development. Would I participate in what, Ludum Dare? I don't actually know what that is, I'm afraid. What do you need to make a video game in App Store like Photoshop and Maya? A bit of experience, I would say. I think as long as you got a bit of coding experience, a bit of knowledge in something like Maya, Photoshop, and Unity, then you could probably stick things together. I'm a toddler. Okay, you're a toddler. One intelligent toddler, I must say. What is Maya, guys? Maya is a 3D a 3D modeling software. So you can make models in it, like cars, people, rocks, houses, whatever. Ludum Dare is a 48-hour game development competition held annually. Do you know what? I'd like to, possibly, but I don't know if I'd ever get the time. To be honest, I am quite a busy person lately. I feel like as every day passes, I become busier and busier, and sometimes it's an absolute killer. Trust me. Having a full-time job is not particularly fun. Let's put it that way. Especially when you're doing Unity as well, game development, and then you want to play video games yourself. It's a real drag having a full-time job. It really is. Let's shrink that rock. A bit too big, I think. Okay, so it's looking a bit more how I envisioned it. Okay, so if you guys remember, if you watched the beginner's tutorial, I asked you if you wanted to see a door or a treasure chest for the key that we have in our inventory. So, what guys do you want to see? Just let me know in these comments here. I'm paying attention to you guys now. I'm reading you. How to make a game without script. Impossible, I would say. I don't think you can really make any game at all without some kind of scripting. It's kind of vital to the core of the game. Is it A2 Nick asking about pressing E on the keyboard? If you have a quick look at the FPS tutorial I do in about episode 6 or 7, I write a script in there that shows you how you can actually press a switch, I should say, to open a door. It is in that series, so if you take a quick look through there, you'll be able to see. I'm hoping this isn't too loud now. Yeah, I quite like that cave. That's good enough. What happened to Deep Within? Deep Within's still around. It is on hold at the moment. I do have another project in the pipeline at the moment, but I'm not going to say too much about it at the moment. I'm not sure how much you knew about Deep Within, but it did go to Kickstarter, but it kind of didn't meet its target. It failed, basically. I don't think we marketed it quite right, but it may still come out. I just haven't quite decided with the team what we're going to do with it just yet, but we'll soon see. Change the lighting a little bit. It's not too bad, I guess. Hi Jimmy, I'm 16 years and until now I don't understand how to make a video game and how many years you can make. Okay, so theoretically you could make a video game in an hour probably. It wouldn't be fantastic, it'd be simple, but take it from there. Start small and build your way up. If you want to make something like I don't know, what's something like a Super Mario game, you could probably do that yourself, but I wouldn't recommend it specifically because you could get yourself a little team going and do it that way. If you want to make something like Skyrim, that would be something quite difficult, especially on your own. But that would take quite a while as well, obviously. So, okay, so someone wants to know how to make a first-person shooter game with hands reloading animation. Honestly, the best way to do that would be to learn a 3D modeling program, because you could actually create animations yourself in that. So perhaps something like Blender or Maya, and then you could incorporate them animations into your game. It's not too difficult to use these 3D modeling programs, but sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to get to grips with it to make exactly what you need. How long would it take you to make Skyrim? Yeah, it's that same question. With a team of, let's say, 100 people, it will probably take a couple of years. Just yourself, it will probably take at least a decade, especially if you went into the almighty detail of something like Skyrim. Yeah, A2 Nick is probably right. About 5 years, especially if you had a team. Blender seems very complicated. The UI is odd. To me, the UI feels a lot like Unity, but I guess that's probably because I've been using both of them for quite a while. But fear not. As I said earlier in the stream, we are doing a Blender tutorial series starting next week or the week after. Keep an eye on that. $100 people, Jesus, yeah. To be honest, I think, well, I'm hoping you're referring to something like what I said before when it comes to making a game like Skyrim. You look at the team that's at Bethesda, there's somewhere around 200 of them that work on things like Elder Scrolls and Fallout, so it's quite a lot. How to make a proper day-night cycle. Okay, so the easiest way, I did a quick tutorial on this, is to rotate the directional light. You can do it that way. When it comes to skyboxes, you can create a script which gradually switches the skybox around as it comes to nighttime. To be honest, I was looking at doing that in the RPG series that I'm running. So if you keep an eye on that, you'll be able to see how we can integrate using a skybox with turning it to night. Let's have a look at our terrain. Let's have a little play with this for now. I'll put a couple of trees over here, I think. Skyboxes are like gradients. No, not strictly. I'll show you what I mean. In the lighting section, you go here to a skybox. A skybox is a way of encompassing the blank surrounding area of what a camera sees. So in this case, when you play, the camera can see all this blue around here. And what a skybox theoretically does is replace this out here with something more visual, i.e. the actual skybox itself. I'm not sure if we've got any skyboxes in here at the moment. Oh, so there you go, yeah. So that would be how it was. You can see that the skybox itself now encompasses around. So when you play the game, you would see this. And the way you would have the day-night cycle is you would gradually move along these. You can see it slowly gets darker. So you'd have your script doing that. And obviously the lighting would change as well. It can be an easy process, but then getting to grips with it to make it look realistic can take a little bit longer. As I say, that's something I intend to do in the RPG series. How to make winter effects? Good question. I'll show you that in probably this series, to be honest. So I'm guessing you want something like snow, maybe an accumulation of snow on the ground. Yeah, I can do that. It is somewhat simple to do. Just takes a little bit of practice to get it going. How difficult would it be to make an enemy that shoots and damages the player? If I'm honest, the easiest way to do that is to head to the asset store. If you're prepared to spend a couple of bucks, you can pick up something there. But in all honesty, you still would need an animated model. You can get them for free in some places. In fact, I do think there are a couple of free ones on the asset store. It might be worth head over there. Can you do a time system in your FPS game? Add health system day? Yes, I can, Arklan. I will be doing that. It's something I have planned, so don't worry about that too much. Dr. Thenyan, is it? Hello. So let's see how this looks now. Do you know, I'm not sure I actually like the screen effects that I have. Do you remember a couple of tutorials ago we did the screen effects, bloom and whatnot? I'm not sure I actually like them. What do you guys think? The only reason I put them in to begin with is so you could kind of play around with it. So let's take off the bloom and the sun shafts and let's see how it looks. I think I like it a bit more like this. I might stick the sun shafts back on. But anyway, here's our cave that we will be creating in our main quest. So as I say, do you guys want a treasure chest or do you guys want an actual door to open? Because if you remember, we get a key from this guy here. So you just let me know which one of the two you want to see. Treasure chest or a door. Let's have a quick look at chat, shall we? What are you guys up to? Yeah, bloom is overpowering, you're right. So let's put it back on. Let's press play and let's have a look at these settings, shall we? Let's see. Let's turn the intensity down to about 70.75. Still not convinced. Let's put it off altogether. See, the thing is, I'm not a massive fan of bloom. It's not something that I particularly like within games. I figured I'd only put it in just kind of so you guys can see. So let's have it at 0.05 and let's have a quick look. Okay, so I think it looks a little bit better. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to save that. Okay, so door. Everyone wants to see a door. Jimmy, please make you car game. You want to see a car? You want to see a racing tutorial? Do you guys want to see a tutorial on how to make something with a car? Because I can do a series on that if you really, really want to see it. It's not a problem for me. Yes, but a 3D car game. I'll tell you what then. I'll put it on my list. And let's see if we can get a car game going. 3D, definitely 3D, yeah. Is that what you guys want? Which is better for optimization, Unity or Unreal 4? To be honest, both. It all depends on the user themselves. It depends on the experience. Are you using an updated version of Unity? Okay, so this, what I'm doing on this live stream right here is Unity version 5.3. I'm also making the RPG series on Unity 5.5, but I think it's up to 5.5.2 at the moment. To be honest, if you are using Unity, I would recommend at least version 5.5, as I found it is it feels much better to use, I've got to be honest. Can you make how to make a horror game series? Ooh, I can if you want me to. I mean, you mean like a survival horror kind of thing? Like, I don't know, what's a good survival horror? What kind of games do you guys like? Like a Slender Man. I've got to be honest, I've heard that a lot. Slender Man. Don't know what it is. Sorry. Slender Man was made in Unity. I did not know that. I should probably check it out then, shouldn't I? I should have a look at it and see what it's all about. Let me write that down. I'll investigate when I finish this. Okay, so how far are we in there? Oh, we've been going 42 minutes. Do I know shader stuff? Yes, I do. I know how to write shaders, how to create them, how to modify them. To be honest, for me personally, shaders have always been a bit of a nightmare. Trying to create them how I want them, I always kind of struggle a little. But I mean, if it's something you want to see, I could probably do a tutorial series on it. I'd have to kind of brush up on my skills a little, but yeah. You want to see shaders? Simple AI tutorial. Tim, the good news is that the FPS series, we're starting to work with AI from the next episode. So I think it's episode 18 that'll be the next one. We'll be starting the AI in that one. Multiplayer. Multiplayer has always been a bit difficult for me. I mean, it's something that I'd like to get into, yeah. And I guess it probably is something I can do. Let me write that down. Let me write a quick note on that. Survival horror series. Okay. So in this live stream, we've established that you guys want a car tutorial and some kind of horror / survival horror series. Okay. Because I love you guys so much, yeah. Okay. I'll plan them. Are you using both Unity and Unreal? Yes, I do use both, if you are indeed addressing me. But I tend to use Unity more than Unreal. In all honesty, I think Unreal is probably better for your, I'd say, more sci-fi shootery kind of games. I'd say they're Unreal is quite nice for that. But personally, I think Unity is perfect for everything all round. But obviously, everyone has a different opinion. You know, I'm not about to try and change your opinion of how you feel or anything. But it all comes down to what you've played with. Do I do freelance work? Not really. It's not something I've ever really considered, to be honest. I just do what I like, to be honest, which is this. I could spend hours and hours and hours a day just working with different things in Unity, just because I get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it. There's always something new to learn in Unity as well. Okay, so there's our entrance to the cave. Let's see. I might put a little light in there in a second. Let's have a quick look at the chat, shall we? What have we got? Can you make a video on how to add a character to FPS controller, because I can't find a video? Okay, so when you say that, you mean, for example, we have the FPS controller in this series, but it has no physical presence as such. Is that what you're referring to? If it is, the best way you could actually do that is not use a first-person controller and put in the third-person controller, and also have a camera rigged to that third person, which would obviously control it, and you would see it that way. So it'd still be first person, but the character itself would be third person. Do I have my own game? Yeah, I do. It was called Deep Within, but it's kind of been put on hold just for now. Cave has fake lighting on stone. Well, to be honest, I'm not really going for anything at the moment. This is just something I'm quickly throwing together so we can move on to the next tutorial. Lighting is something that's quite important, I would say, within any game, and it's always best to fiddle around with it and play with different settings just to see what you get. Any AI tutorials? Alex? Yes. Said it not too long ago. That's the FPS series is gradually building up our AI in there. Also, if you're on Patreon, the Zombie Horde tutorial starts this month. I'll be getting into AI in that one as well. By the way, Jimmy, I was looking around. I found inverse kinematics and didn't understand how to use them in Unity. Can you explain briefly? How can I explain that? Okay, kinematics. To be honest, sometimes I find things a bit difficult to explain. It might be a bit difficult because it probably is something that, at least with kinematics themselves, I will go through it at some point in a tutorial, but usually when I do a tutorial, I have everything researched and scripted beforehand, so it's not just kind of off the cuff like a live stream is. Is U4 better than U5 for learning Unity? When you say U4, do you mean Unreal? Is that what you're referring to? Who's that? Dennis Wynn. I like the surname, by the way, Wynn. I like that surname. Is Blender good for Unity? Yes. Simple answer, yes. If you make something in Blender, brilliant. Stick it in Unity. Unity 4. Excuse me. Unity 4 is, quite frankly, a pain because they used a different model with Unity 4 where the free version was kind of locked down and not everything was available. So unless you pay for Unity 4 for the full version, then I would say no. Whereas Unity 5 has absolutely everything unlocked, and what you pay for with them is like a subscription kind of thing to get extras and whatnot. Will you code in this live stream? No, probably not. I did say on the beginner series of episode 30, I think it was, that I'd just use this tutorial to build up this cave and talk to you guys just for a little bit. I do plan to, probably not sure whether it's going to be the next live stream, but it might be the one after. I actually have here a couple of notes of what I want to do. I want to spend probably an hour on live stream building a quick little game to play around with. So we will be coding in that one. Space Flight Simulator tutorial. That's very specific. Any particular reason why you'd want that? What is the black box? You mean this big black box here? That there is the canvas. So if I turn that off, it disappears. Put it on, it reappears. The reason it's there is because that's the fade screen. So when we start the game, this fades and disappears. Okay, so as you guys wanted a door, I think I'm going to have the door here. And then we'll have the gold bullion somewhere here. And we'll work with it that way. So I am going to save that project right there. Let's have a quick look at chat again. How long have we been going? 52 minutes. That flew by, to be honest. Let's see. I've learned Unity by your videos. 77, that's good to know, because that's the reason I'm here, to teach you guys, to let you guys learn. Let's see. Let's have a look at this building here. Before I go, let's see what it's like if we attach a normal map to it. Let's have a look. Don't want the grayscale. Let's have a little look-see. Let's try the gray to reduce it. Not quite sure on this. I think that'll do just for now. Sometimes it's nice just to kind of take a bit of time and play around with Unity. I do it quite a lot, to be honest. So sometimes when I go quiet and I'm just fiddling around with things, don't worry about it. I love you, man. Is that for me? Thank you. If it is for me, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Epic's Minecrafter is going. Goodbye. I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. How can you duplicate a scene in Unity? Rage. Go to your scene. Click on it. Hold Control. Press D. Easy. Hi Jimmy, can't stay too long. To be honest, I'll be finishing in a couple of minutes anyway. I think an hour was my intended time. It's how long I plan to build this cave anyway, about an hour. But I'll watch it if you update your YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch it on there. Anyway, I hope you'll get more money or even a job in Unity. Your work is awesome. Raz, a lot of people ask me about the money when it comes to doing this, and if I'm perfectly honest, it is good to receive the money and donations, but ultimately what I do like to see is how much people have learned from what I've taught them, because then you guys go on and make something for yourselves and make a life from what you've learned. I'd like a job in Unity, I really would, but I just feel that I'd never be able to have my own control. So if I did ever work exclusively with Unity, I'd be working for myself. But obviously the only way to do that would be to get the money, which is difficult. As let's face it, a lot of freelance people in this kind of work probably struggle a bit more than others. I read something in a PlayStation company and they said in order to make games you'll see physically in that area, and you're in Africa. Well, that's not strictly true, because you have indie devs that make games and then submit them to, for example, Microsoft or Sony, and then get their games published. So I don't think it's so much being in that area. But I think if you want to work for a company, like for example, if you wanted to work for, I don't know, let's say Bethesda, you would actually have to be in their area where they are, which I think is Maryland in the US. So I think that's possibly what they mean. But to be an indie dev, no, not at all. You could probably do everything through the internet. In fact, when I was developing Deep Within, there was a couple of us here in the UK, and there was most in America, and we all used to communicate via email and via a special private chat where we'd pass things along and develop things that way, and it worked. To be honest, it worked well. So no, I wouldn't think you have to be physically in that area. Thanks, Milo. Thanks. I'm glad that you're actually learning something. It's always good to see that. A web developer. If I want a website, I'll make it for free. Just contact me. Okay. I may take you up on that one day. Not sure if you're here earlier. I know you probably weren't, because I did see you only came in recently. I did say that I was working on a new game. I'm not going to say much about it at the moment, but if anyone ever saw anything of Deep Within, it looks, at the moment, from what I've built, it looks probably 10 times better than what Deep Within did. Do you make game alone? Yes and no. I do a lot of the work myself, but I do have a little bit of a team, and I like to refer to them quite a bit for ideas, input, and creation. It's always nice to have an outside source as well. So it's always nice to hire new people every now and again, just for a little bit, to let them have their opinion and views on it. Okay, people arguing about Netherlands. Netherland. Okay, random. So before we go, does anybody have any questions about the tutorials or anything? Anything you'd like to know what we're doing, where we're going with the tutorials? Or if you'd like to see something in tutorial? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Where do you get your assets textures? It's a bit of a mixture, really. Some assets I get from the store. Some I get from external sources, some I get made for me, some I make myself, and sometimes Google is quite helpful when you look for commercially free textures. So it's all over the place, really. Can you work on one Unity project with multiple computers / people? At the same time? No. Separately? Yes. I mean, theoretically, you could have someone who builds a scene on their machine, and then someone else who builds another scene on their machine, and then you can bring the two together in an ultimate Unity project. So you could kind of do it that way. But obviously, the assets and everything would have to be in the exact same folders. Okay, so I'm thinking... I might put a quick normal map on there, just to see what it's like. How to make character move and animate. For stuff like that, for character-wise anyway, like your normal character or your enemy, you're probably better off creating that animation in your modeling program rather than Unity. It gives you a bit more freedom. Will I ever make tutorials for VR games? Do you know what? I get asked this quite a lot. For me personally, I don't know where VR is going at the moment. I'm kind of leaning towards it's just a fad, you know, like motion controls were, because I just don't see VR actually lasting the next 3 years, let's say. So I don't think it's feasible for me to create something in VR just yet. Although in time it may change. VR might become huge, in which case then yeah, I would probably investigate and create tutorials. Let's change that a little. Let's change the terrain as well. Okay, so still not entirely convinced, but I think I might just leave that there for now. Let's put that back to custom. Yeah, okay. So I think that's pretty much my cave. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. If you guys have built your cave, fantastic. If you're still yet to build your cave, if you're following this series, take your time, build it how you want it to do. You know, you don't need to rush it. I think the next tutorial is going to be, I think it's going to be sometime this month. It shouldn't be too long, and we are going to do a door as we've decided in this stream. So yeah, we get the key from our guy over here. Where's he gone? There, you can see him there. To open a door here to get our gold bullion. Okay, so I think I'm going to end in a couple of minutes. As I say, anyone got any burning questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Can you do a tutorial in the FPS series how to spread the bullets when shooting? Yeah, I guess I can. Because at the moment with the rapid fire weapon, the SMG, it shoots in one space, doesn't it? One particular line. Yes, I guess I could. All it would require, I guess, is a bit of random generation added in there. So you'd have to create maybe a float number and randomize that float to move, let's say, the center of where you're shooting offset by, let's say, 0.5 to the right, or maybe 0.3 to the left, or a different place like that. So yeah, you can build it that way, and I guess if you want that, we'll do it in that series. A game like Rust. I've never played Rust. I wouldn't know much about it. I don't really know it. Can we have a Kerbal Space Program like game tutorial? I've never even heard of that. I tell you what, Caden, you come up with a lot of terms which I've never heard of. Am I just behind with the times or something? Maybe I am. I'm not sure. When did I start working with Unity and what inspired me to make my own games? I started working with Unity in about 2012, so it's nearly 5 years ago since I started with it. I've loved video games pretty much my whole life. I mean, I can go back to the 90s when I had a Mega Drive or a Genesis for America, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, and for all intents and purposes, and so everyone knows, Dreamcast is my all-time favorite games console. Not that it has much to do with anything here, but I just thought I'd like to get it out there. So that's the reason why I want to make games. Why I want to teach people how to make games, because I've loved them all my life. I'm not really behind with the time. Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like I am, because in my mind I'm like still 16, but in my body I'm 31. So I just feel so behind at times. Like, for example, everyone has a smartphone these days. I've got a Windows phone. Mock me if you want to, but it took me a while before I even got myself a smartphone. So that's why I feel a bit behind at times. A base building survival game. Do you know, it's stuff like that and like RTS games that I've never really been into. I suppose the closest I've ever got to it was when I played Age of Empires years and years and years and years and years ago. Have you done a face reveal? Why do people keep asking me this? I mean, why do you guys want to see my face? It's it's a mess. But if you really, really want to see my face, you can see it on the website, on the About section, or if you go to Patreon, there's a picture of me on the Patreon page. Could you do a video with tutorial on how to make enemy routines, like walk a path to a certain point, shoot, repeat? Yes, of course, Andre. I can do that actually. I might look at doing that in the FPS series, because it is somewhat simple. Because all you would really need is the animated model, which is fine, and then you would say, get your model, say, to walk this way for X amount of time, stop, maybe perform another animation, and walk maybe this other way for an X amount of time, and you could just kind of repeat that. So yeah, it is something I can do if you want me to. Chances are I'll do it in the FPS series. Bullet spread thing, can it be in C#? Yeah, if you want to. I'll get it done in C#. Although it may require us changing a couple of scripts in that FPS series to C#. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll see what happens. Dear me. Okay, so here in the UK, it's coming up for 7:10. I've been streaming nearly an hour and 10 minutes, and same as last time when I did my test, it's been absolutely great talking to you guys. I really love interacting with you people. You know, the ones that follow that series, want to ask questions, they want to learn. I absolutely love this. So chances are I'll be doing another live stream pretty soon, but you'll see on the website anyway, or on Facebook, Twitter, whichever. I'll let you know when I'm next on the next live streaming. Is it hard to build a house in Blender? No, not really. It just takes a little bit of time if you want to get it perfect. What I would recommend is you build just the house itself with no interior as such, just the rooms, and then you can build everything separate in Blender and then bring it in and place it where you need to. I'd say that's the best way of doing it. Do you prefer C# or Java, and why? Someone asked that earlier, Op King. I like both, to be honest. Java is real simple, especially when it comes to simple projects. I always feel Java's better, but when you come to the nitty-gritty of development, C# is always more, what's the word, maybe precise? C# is, I'd say, is preferable in big projects, Java in smaller projects, but I like both, to be honest, just because I can do both, and they are fairly similar. Is it hard to make a game that uses a guitar? You mean to play guitar? I guess not, but you probably need to get the right perfect sounds first and get everything in order before you even start trying to think of the programming for that. Yep. See you, Dennis. Thanks for popping by. Hopefully see you in the next live stream. Nice face. Oh dear. Yeah, I'll tell you what, when you look at yourself sometimes, like when I get up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror, I think, oh, good lord. Yeah. You see some of these people, like, I don't know, PewDiePie, and people seem to go crazy for him. So yeah, there we go. So chaps, guys, girls, dogs, cats, rabbits, aliens, whoever we have in here, thank you for watching this live stream. This particular project, as I say, we'll pick up in the next tutorial. We'll have our door on this cave. And yeah, you guys keep doing Unity, keep learning. If you want to know anything, I try to answer as many comments as I can, but you guys have got to remember I get a lot of comments every single day because I'm coming up for nearly 200 videos, I think, so it's hard to kind of keep track of all these comments. Have uploading more videos a week. I've thought about uploading more videos a week, and I do a standard of 2 a week now, but that's thanks to the donations I get on Patreon. So yeah, hopefully once we get to the next level, I'll be doing 3 a week and then 4 a week, 5 and so on. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you around in the next live stream.